Hi, this is Shane with IndieExpress.com, and I am here with Eric Bricker, the director and writer of Visual Acoustics, the Modernism of Julius Schulman. Trying to make sure I said that last word right. So how are you today?
I'm doing well.
And is this the premiere of your film here at the LA Film Festival?
Yes. Yes, this is the world premiere.
Now, this is your first film. What you come from a theater background. What kind of inspired you to make this movie?
Yeah, I actually have both a theater background and an art background, and I've always had the intention of wanting to make my own films and kind of have my own little story of kind of moving out to Los Angeles and having my experience within the industry and realizing ultimately I want to make my own film, and kind of put that whole thing on hold and went into art consultation. And through that, I was introduced to Julius, and we became friends. And it was probably about 2 years into our relationship when I realized these photographs. Well, instantly I realized the photographs belonged on the big screen. They're very cinematic, and I wanted to see those on the big screen. And in getting to know Julius, I thought this person is such a unique individual in the way that he lives his life and the way that he is. Even if you pull away the whole archive, his archive, which was pulled away, it actually resides at the Getty now. He himself is worthy of a documentary. He's just a fascinating Zen character that I always say fashions his own life, and I call him the golden child. He's truly lived a blessed life.
Let's talk about his life just for a little bit. I know he's worked with some of the most renowned architects, of, I guess, what would be considered the silver age of modern architecture. Tell us a little bit about kind of how he got his start, if you can, and just a little bit about him as an artist and a person.
I'll start with the way he is as a person, because I think that will be a better lead into him as an artist. Julius is a very free-thinking individual, very bohemian in his approach to life. I mean, he went to college for 7 years. He went to both UCLA back in the 20s and Berkeley, and never graduated. So, and he doesn't care. It was just about for the love of attending classes for him. So through that, he's a person who's very open to letting things happen. One of his big rants is, he always says, young people today try to plan too much. Don't try to plan. So he kind of just lets things come to him. And when he left Berkeley back in 1936, he moved back to Los Angeles, and his sister was renting a room to one of Richard Neutra's draftsmen. And they had talked, and the draftsman had told Julius about this house. You should come on up, check it out. You're a photographer, bring your camera. Julius went and shot 6 photographs of a house. The draftsman took those to Richard Neutra. Neutra, who was a already well-established and prominent architect, saw the photos and he's like, bring this kid in. So Julius came in, and Julius always says, March 6, 1936 changed my life. And he became instantly an professional architectural photographer. And Richard Neutra opened up his complete Rolodex and introduced Julius to some of the most established architects here in Los Angeles.
What did when you told him you wanted to make a film about, I guess, his photographs and kind of him by proxy, what was his response to being the subject of your documentary?
Yeah, it was pretty much, okay, why not? That's how Julius is, and that's a really good question for me, because I always I was this unproven person. I mean, we had a strong foundation, friendship foundation. So that's why it happened. Both Julius and his daughter allowed me to do this. They trusted me, but still, he didn't know what I would do with this. And this again, I think, is a reflection on Julius, who he is as a person. He trusts. He's not afraid to take risks, and I think ultimately he knows. He just has this sense that things always work out somehow, some way.
Let's talk about your process of kind of putting the documentary together. Kind of what was pre-production like for you? How long were you actually in production? And how did you decide, I guess, how you were going to structure your film?
Sure. The first 2 years, which was 2000, January 1st, 2002 was my official start date because I had finally got to the point in 2001. I had forced myself to buy a camera, and I was going to go out and make this documentary. So I started the 1st of January 2002. And I would ask Julius, okay, who do I talk to about Frank Lloyd Wright? Or who do I talk to about, a particular like Neutra topic? And he would send me out to all of his, and they were architects, academics, critics, just to all these different people. And for 2 years, I did these interviews. And what it did was, it pretty much amounted to, I cut a teaser or kind of a promo piece from it. But within that 2-year period, I finally got a sense. I did a lot of interviews with Julius, and I got a sense of what the story was. I felt like I really truly embodied the story. And from that point, it was pretty much at the beginning, it was January of 2004, I was able to launch the actual film. And as far as structuring the film, within it, I always was pretty clear at the beginning the approach I wanted to take to the film, and I could say the biggest influence on me for that was Stacy Peralta's Dogtown and Z-Boys, which people always say, like, what the heck does skating have to do with architecture? But I pretty much wanted a non-linear approach to the subject matter.
So you wanted it to have the feel of like somebody actually into it, not in kind of experiencing as it goes, not from the beginning of his time to the end of like of the photography process. You wanted it to be just kind of an experience of all of it at once.
That's exactly it. I wanted it experiential in nature, and I wanted textured. And I feel like with Dogtown and Z-Boys, I remember when I saw that, I came out of the theater and I felt like my knees were bleeding and my head had just like banged into concrete. And I wanted, for this film, I wanted people to walk out feeling the smooth sexiness, the lines, and the clarity of modernist architecture and design. And I think if you can reach people that way, where it kind of resonates emotionally and just experientially, all the rest will come. My intent was for people to really feel a sense of elevation through the film, and then walk out of the film with a head full of questions and wanting to dive into the gazillion of books and articles that are out there on this subject.
So what's next for you? Are you making do you have another film that you're kind of ready to start pre-production on?
Yeah, I do. I'm working on 3 different projects. I've since relocated to Austin, so I've assembled a really great research crew and launched. One's a documentary, one is a TV pilot, which we're getting ready to shoot in October, and then I have a narrative script, which is a little bit further out, but it deals with the contemporary art world.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on your premiere here at LA Film Festival. And we look forward to seeing more from you and more from the film. And this has been Shane Morton with IndiaExpress.com, today here with Eric Bricker.